Hey guys, this is Hetu and welcome back to ETL Labs. So in this session, we will be answering some of the subscribers' queries on the comment box. Right, so there are three questions that we will be taking one by one, okay? And we will see that what are the possible answers for all of them, right? So big shout out to all these people who have asked these questions. I think these questions are good one. That's the reason I picked up. And guys, if I'm not able to pick up any of your questions, then please try to understand that I cannot really take up all the questions here. Uh, Whatever I feel that most important stuff and the questions can benefit other people also, those questions only I am going to pick it up here, right? Because I mean sometime I might answer you over the chat, over the comment, right? But then to do a separate video, I think it is difficult for me to pick up all the questions, guys, so please bear with me. But yeah, I whatever I feel that important question, that I will definitely try to take out them, and then I also do the video for that, right? So that you all can get benefit, right? So yeah, so let's start then, guys. Yeah, what is the first question? So Sagar has asked, as an ETL tester, should I create a mapping in Informatica from scratch or make use of mapping done by ETL developer and run the job, right? So guys, as part of ETL tester, you're not supposed to create any mapping. You're not supposed to create any design any mapping logic or job, etc. Right? You are just supposed to use that job which developer has created, and they might have promoted you to your development. So guys, let me try to help you understand little bit about the environment, right? So we have, let's say, dev environment, okay, and then you have the QA environment. QA or test environment, guys, right? You can just say that QA or test environment, and then you have the prod environment or UAT, I would say. There is UAT environment as well, and then prod environment, right? So hope you are able to understand it, right? So development environment is the one where the development team use basically for developing the job, right? When they need to do a new job or they need to fix the defect, etc., they will be using this particular environment, and tester or the QA engineer will not have access to this environment, right? So this environment will be having only access to. So when I say environment, guys, the ETL job, the server where it is hosted entirely will be different, right? Development server, etc., right? So and this is the place where developer will be doing the job development and everything, right? After development of the job, what they will do is uh, they will do the unit testing, right? So what all the things they will do? Um, Job development, right? Development, and then unit testing they will do, right? Unit testing is done by developer only, right? They will be doing, and after unit testing is completed, they feel that this is good, there is no bug in the unit testing, then what they will do is they will promote it to the QA environment, right? This is ideal, guys, okay? Many a times there will not be any separate QA environment if there is not significant traction on the QA team, then there will not be separate QA environment for that, and you might need to do use the same development environment, okay, for testing as well. But yeah, normally you should have a QA environment, because the problem is when you are actually finding some defect, the QA environment should be untouched. Otherwise, in QA environment, if some developer is doing some job change, etc., then it might impact your QA timeline, right? I mean, you will if they are disturbing that environment, you will not be able to conclude your testing, right? One time the test cases might pass, and other time the test cases might fail, because that environment is being used by development team also, right? So that is the reason there is a need of having a QA environment. What will happen is, after the unit testing is completed and the developer says that they are happy with the code, they will promote the job into QA environment, okay? Promote job from dev to QA, right? Dev to QA environment. Now, QA team will test here, right? In this environment only, they will be doing all the testing, right? So, typically the testing can be multiple things. There could be multiple things here, right? there could be, this testing could, so it depends again on the, kind of agreement that you are having. Sometime what will happen is, the job run and everything you will be doing it, okay? But if you have the separate QA team, then obviously you will be running the job, right? So you will be running the job, and then you will be testing, right? Data testing basically after the job load, data load, right? Data testing, you will be doing it here, okay? Okay, guys, as I said that in some cases there might be the development environment only, that's where you have to do the testing. In that case, what will happen is, the developer, right? Development team only will run the job and load the data and ask QA to do testing, right? This is what happens, guys. Okay, but this is, not a very good way of doing the testing. Actually, you are compromising a lot of things here. So, but yeah, there are certain cases where the tester will not run job. Tester will only do the testing after data load is done by the development team. They will say that, okay, can you go and do the data testing? So the data testing will be done, right? Basically, the mapping and other things, all those testing that can be done. But ideal is there should be a QA environment, and the QA team will basically test. So what they will be doing it, they will be running the job also, plus they will be doing the data testing. Here they will be only doing the data testing. The running of the job, I mean data loading will, data testing, right? Data loading will be done by development team only, right? Now what will happen, guys? Once you are done, means QA team is done with the testing, the same job will be promoted. So here, guys, infrastructure, complete infrastructure is different, right? Because see, server is different, job environment is different, right? So everything will be different here, right? So it's as a fresh environment, right? And similarly, we have the UAT environment, and this is the place where, most of the business testing happens. So here QA will be not doing the testing. Here the real user or the end user will be doing the testing before releasing into production, right? And just want to check whether the things are working fine and meeting the requirement what, user wanted basically, right? They will be doing the testing here in UAT, and once UAT is fine and they are good with the UAT, then the job will be promoted to production environment, right? And this is normally done during the weekend when the production system is not running, right? And then the job, this will be normally, I will say that this will be done normally on the weekends, right? Because when production environment is down, then only you can push it, because we don't want to impact the production system which is running, right? So what will happen is, and then production, it will be deployed into production. And here, whose responsibility is that UAT environment testing done by whom? Is it tester? No, right? Who will be testing here, guys? By end user, right? Or customer. Also I can say customer, who has basically done by end. Okay, one second, guys. End user, right? Or customer who has asked, who has given the requirement for you to develop that, right? Now the production, it will, the after the UAT, successful UAT, it will be the job will be promoted into production environment, and responsibility is the support. Production support engineer will be monitoring it on the daily basis, right? Any job failure, etc., he will be reporting it, right? Now, guys, okay. So one second. No, one second, guys. Yes, okay. Production support engineer, right? Production support engineer will be monitoring the jobs on the daily basis, and any failure will be handled by them, right? Now, guys, what is here is basically, so these are the environment, right? Couple of the multiple environment. I thought that, this is something that you should be knowing, right? In the real time, in the companies, how the things work, right? We do not have only single environment, multiple environments for multiple purposes, right? Now I will attempt that question, guys. I think you will be able to understand. So here, as I say that as a ETL tester, should I create a mapping in Informatica from scratch? No. As I said that Informatica Mapping will be created, or mapping or the job will be created by development team only, and you are only supposed to test it. Sometime, as I said, that it is done and run by run job. So job can be run by you also if there is a separate QA environment. Otherwise, the job can be run by the development team only, and they will ask you to do the data testing. Hope you are able to understand this, right? Second question is, as data is already loaded in the target DB by ETL development team while testing, if I run the ETL job, will the data be duplicated in the target? As I mentioned here, right, in here, right, that there is a separate environment as a QA environment, and if you are running the job, there will not be any data duplication, right? There should not be any data duplication in the target, right? Also, we are not supposed to load any duplicated data also. So if your job should be actually able to handle it also, right? So even if you are running multiple time the same job, your job should be able to handle if there is any duplicate data, I mean already existing data in the target, then you should be basically you should be basically testing that also, right, for the duplication, etc. I mean, ideally, your job should be able to filter that. If data is already available, then it should be rejected, basically. All right. So I think you are able to understand this concept now, right? Now let's go to the second part of this one. So this is the question I think asked by Binay, and he says that when defect is identified in production, then what will be the approach from tester or testing team, right? So this is very generic question. It is not only related to Informatica or ETL testing. This is the normal, this is a generic question, as I said, that any kind of production environment, right? So guys, if you look at these things, right? So as I said that everywhere there will be testing, right? Here also there will be testing. There will not be testing where in the production environment. We do not do any kind of testing in the production environment. But what happens, let's say here also developer will do the unit testing. Here QA will be doing the rigorous testing. And after QA, there will be customer who will also be doing the testing, right? If the sum of the defect, which is actually not caught in any of these three stages, then it might go to the production environment as well, right? And if so, production environment, guys, it is monitored by production support engineer. Okay, you as a tester will not monitor the production environment, and you will not even know what is happening in the production environment, right? You are only responsible here. You only responsible here in the QA testing, and somewhere you will be supporting the UAT users also sometime. Okay, not all the time, but you are not at all involved in the production environment and production management, right? How the jobs runs on the daily basis, and how the data loads on the business close up business day, and etc. So this is normally handled by the production support engineer, and there might be the possibility that sometime the job failure might happen, right? So for example, there could be multiple reasons for job failure. One of the reason could be, the file format that in in the ETL context, let's say I have a file system, okay? Let's say I have flat file, for example. I'm just telling you what kind of failure you might see in the ETL, right? So I have a flat file, okay, CSV, let's say. All right, let me do one thing. emp dot or let's say customer, right? Customer dot CSV. This is my file, all right? CSV, all right. So if this is my file and I have certain columns, let's say employee okay, customer ID, customer name, and let's say uh, okay, customer name and customer uh, city, something like this. Some more columns, guys. I'm not taking all of them. So one, and then name may be Akash. All right, and all right. Now the customer city, let's say Bangalore. Okay, something like this is there. Okay, two, Amber. Amber, okay, and then Pune, 3, Ali, and Chennai. All right, guys. So let's say these are some of the data, okay, in this particular file. Now what happen is, I mean this job, I mean we have already done the mapping and the job was running, let's say successfully. All of a sudden, what happen is this customer CSV file. This is the third party, right? This is actually coming from the third party vendor. Every day we are loading this file into our database now. All of a sudden, what happen is the customer CSV format got changed. Okay, so instead of customer city, they are just saying city. All right. The name is only city, and they are also adding one column called country. Okay. Now what will happen is this particular data, the now they will be also putting something like India. Okay. This is the new file. Okay. Before that we only had the 3 columns, right? Now we have the 4 column. Now our job, ETL job is designed to handle only 3 columns, right? Now here there is a change in this particular file format, right? What will happen is the job will start failing in the production environment. Now who will see this job failure first of all? The production support engineer who is actually working every day and making sure that all the jobs are successfully completing, right? Now this job failure will happen. Now what will happen is as a production support engineer, what I will do is, let's say I am a production support engineer. I found this failure. I will try to see that what is the problem. Then I will clearly see that there is a problem with the file format that we are actually getting every day. And today all of a sudden file format is changed and we are getting a different format of the file, and hence the job is failing. Now this production support engineer's job is to basically send an email out to the development team and saying that okay, this is the change that we have received and we need to basically work on this particular job and make sure that job is actually supporting this new file format that we have received, right? And then development team will start working, and then after the same things they will be doing, right? QA and then UAT and everything will happen, and finally they will be deploying. Until then, the support engineer might be doing some manual way, right, of loading this data basically. Okay, they might check with development team how to handle this basically, and the development team will provide the workaround basically until this permanent fix is done. So after permanent fix is done, again the job will be deployed into production environment, and this will be taken forward. Now guys, what will happen is the question that was here is the what is the approach of the tester, right? So here guys there is no approach from the tester. Okay, there is no, okay, the tester might be involved, okay, but the thing is this reporting and everything will be basically the tester might be there in the loop when this production support engineer will be setting up a call with development team, and then QA is also supposed to know because QA has to test the new format, right? But then this bug will not be reported by QA guys. This bug will be reported by the production support engineer directly to the development engineer, right? Development team, right? So here our approach is to from the QA side, what we have to do is we have to actually retest with make sure that the fresh requirement is there, and we are actually retesting, or we are doing the fresh testing for the new file format actually, right? That is the role of the tester here in this case. All right guys, I think I was able to clarify. Hope you understand. Okay, now let's go to the third question guys, and this is also good question, I would say. Soma Sekhar asked that how to monitor and execute production ETL process using Informatica Power Center, and this will be asking in pro support project. So make a video, yeah. So this is basically I think again the basic question, guys. So this is something, guys, if you have watched my videos that I have been doing the workflow monitor part. So guys, this is something that if you are working as a support engineer for Informatica or the ETL, right? And then your job will be basically to monitor the workflow, right? So workflow all the workflow will be actually there in the workflow monitor. You can actually monitor all of them here, right? Okay, so let me try to help you understand basically little bit theory around it. Okay, so what happens is now what we do is in Informatica we have designer, right? That's where we are creating the mapping, right? And then workflow manager, that's where we are actually creating a workflow or ETL job also you can call it. Okay, now there is a workflow monitor, right? And this monitor is where basically you can monitor the job progress, job status, right? You can track it, right? So everything as part of support engineer, you might not have the access to designer, you might not have access to workflow manager, but you will be having access to workflow monitor in Informatica because you have to monitor the success or failure of the job, and also you should have the permission to rerun it. If there is any failure, then you should be able to rerun it, right? So that is what the job of an a support engineer is there, right? So this is what his question basically, right? So let's do one thing. Let me go to the monitor directly. So this is the Informatica Power Center. Okay. So guys, let me do one thing. I think let me do one thing. Let me close it and I will open it for you a fresh one, right? And then you will be able to understand what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, I already have covered it. So now let me say that monitor. I will say just type monitor. Okay, yeah. So here is Power Center monitor, workflow Power Center monitor. All right. Workflow monitor. So let's see that. Okay, what is happening here? It is right. Now I will connect to this particular repository, guys. Okay, and I will show you. Now I'm just logging in. I will show you the job, right? If there is any failure, etc., how do you handle it? So let's go there within the integration service. Then I will show you. All right. So here is one of the job, guys. Yeah. So this is the workflow, right? And this particular workflow, let's say it has got failed. And then what I need to do is, as part of engineer, support engineer, I need to check actually, right? So if I go here, there is a session, right? If I right click on this, I can go to get session log. Okay. If I see here, the session log here, what is the problem basically? I will be able to see, right, what is the problem here. It is saying that success here, right? See here it is saying that applied row 5 and all those things, which means it is success, right? If there is any failure, then you will see here failure and there will not be any data load, and this session will also be failed. Okay, let me show you actually how we can fail it. Okay, I will just try to show you, something so that you can correlate basically. If any failure, then how do you handle it, right? So as part of production support engineer, you will be having access to read only access, and you should be having access to rerun the job basically. Okay, so that if there is any failure, then you should be able to handle it. You should be able to rerun it. So failure can be multiple reason, guys. There might be the chances that the file which we are expecting has arrived late, etc. It is not yet arrived. All those kind of things might happen. Okay, that we can see later. But for now, let's say I have this, right? Now what I will do is, this is my file, right? And let me do one thing. Mm, okay, okay, one second. Okay, I will do one thing here is, I will just try to, I will just try to change the port here. No, I cannot change the port here. Maybe here I can do something. Let me see. So if I change it, string to, let's say, integer, just simply I'm just changing it. Okay, guys. Now let's save this mapping, and now let me go to monitor and try to. So how can I restart, guys? I can just go to this workflow. I can go to here also, right? Workflow here also or here also, doesn't matter. Then I can say right click and I can say restart. Restart means it will actually restart this workflow, right? So let's see what happens, right? So I have actually changed the data type in the source qualifier for the employee name as an integer, which is invalid, right? Let's see what happens, right? So guys, it has failed now here, right? I will just intentionally change it just to show you that if there is a failure, how do we handle it, right? Now let me go here, and guys, I'm not able to see it here. Okay, some problem is there. Now if I again change it back, which means I'm actually fixing it. Normally, as a support engineer, you will not have access to write anything. You will be having access to run the workflow and read this what is written. Most probably, you might have access to read only access to the designer. Okay. Now let's say if I want to change it string again here, right? String, where is string, guys? Okay, here it is. Now let me save it again and then try to again I'm going back here and I'm just trying to rerun it again, restart. Okay, let's try to see whether it is working this time. So this is how you can handle it. Okay, and this is I'm just showing you, I mean this is not really the good example, but yeah, I mean to answer your question, right, what kind of access you should have as part of uh, ETL production engineer, right? Support engineer. So you see that the job is now succeeded, guys, here, right? Which means there was a problem here. Now his question is basically execute production ETL using Informatica Power Center, asking support. So this is how you can answer, guys. Okay, I mean you can say that I mean as a support engineer, I can have the access to rerun the job or restart the job basically if there is any failure happening. So I can have the access in the to the workflow monitor in Informatica and I can rerun it. Okay. And if the some of the problems, something related to let's say you have a file delay file, right? File delayed or I mean source basically, right? And then after when the job run basically did not find and it will fail, right? Obviously. So what you have to do is you make sure that you have the source system available, then only you can trigger it. So you can just rerun it also, and then you can make sure it is passing, right? Job is passing. Now guys, one more thing. What I wanted to tell you is yes. Okay. So guys, in the real time, what happens is, okay, you might have access to Informatica, but the jobs are not actually scheduled in Informatica. It can have the third party scheduler, right? Third party scheduler, right? Or maybe you might have the cron jobs, or maybe autosys jobs, right? Which are used to schedule Informatica workflow, right? Are the Informatica jobs, right? So they are also called job, guys. The AutoSys job, etc. They are called job. So they are basically are kind of wrapper basically. Okay. So the AutoSys job is nothing but it's basically a few line of Linux scripts, right? That you are going to set up in your Linux box, and that's where you mention which workflow and what is the condition when the workflow should trigger, etc., timing, etc., when it should kick off, all those things. And similarly, the cron job is also like that only, right? So, are there might be some other third-party tool also. So these are the something the third-party tool might be used most of the time. Uh, to schedule all this job, but actually these are just a wrapper, right, to kick it off right here, but actual execution will happen here only. Okay, so in case you need to rerun this job, you can either kick off that autosys job, which is nothing but containing this particular job only, description of this job only. Ultimately, when you actually run the autosys job, it will trigger this job also, right? Otherwise, you might have the access to directly here, right? Workflow monitor. You can go and you can kick it off here also, right? So this is how it happens actually in the real time project, guys. Okay. Hope I was able to answer all those questions today. And if you have still any questions, guys, do let me know. More than happy to answer. All right. And yeah, one more request. So, guys, please like and subscribe my channel if you are watching it first time here. And other thing is, if you're liking those videos, please comment down, right? Whether yeah, if I'm able to explain you, or you need any other further help, etc., or whether you are liking this kind of question answer session, etc., or not, right? So that will also give me some context whether what I should cover and what I should not cover, right? So that is the reason I am asking you. If you're liking also my videos, then also I will be able to understand that I'm going in the right direction, guys. So this is very important because this is not face-to-face conversation. That's the reason it is very important that your comments and your likes about like on this particular video will be extremely helpful for me to understand whether you are liking it or not liking it, right? So that is the reason, guys. I'm just requesting again and again. And also, please do share this channel with anyone who need to learn, end-to-end ETL Informatica, ETL testing, data warehouse testing. I think I will be covering some more concept about data warehousing. I think long way to go, guys. I think this channel is very, very new. I would say 3 months old only. I have started this channel with a very, very good intent of serving the people who really need in this pandemic time, and they cannot really afford the coaching classes, or they even in some coaching, I know, guys, I think even if you're going to the coaching classes also, whatever I have taught here, they will not even cover that part also, right? So that is the reason I'm helping here people to gain some knowledge and get the good job. And it is very good feeling when I hear some people say that that they have got the job offer and they are able to change uh, their domain where they were working before, right? Their work stream. It is really extremely uh, happy, right? Extremely happy moment for me because uh, I feel that if I'm putting this much of efforts, at least it is I'm able to help the people. Yeah. So that's the whole intention, guys, I think. So please do utilize this channel and do let me know if you need any other support or any other help. I am actually right now covering the Informatica session uh, that is good enough for a developer and also the tester, right? So if you are having experience like 2 3 years, or even if you are a fresher and you want to switch your career, or if you are working into some other technology, it is very good. Please do follow and follow my video one by one. I think you will be able to learn everything about Informatica, right? So whatever I will be teaching you here, and because I am actually covering each and every step by step procedure, right? That even you will not sometime this coaching institutes will not be telling you all those things. Everything I am open and I am actually telling you, right? So that is the reason I think do utilize it, and I sincerely hope that it can bring at least a bit of change in your career. Then that will be a good thing for me and for everybody, right? That's all, guys, I think, and thank you for watching, and that's all for this video. And until then, I'll see you in the next video soon. And until then, happy learning. God bless you. Bye.